So today we're talking about stress management and how to make it simple and easier for you than hopefully ever before. If you haven't heard some of the tips, strategies, and things that we'll be using and going over in our conversation today. Now, my name is Coach Brian Pirana. I've been a health professional for it's been since 2002. I was teaching group exercise classes. I got an exercise nutrition degree. I'm 42. I have 4 kids, and this is what I do. I manage everyone's stress, help them keep it real, keep it on track, and keep them moving toward their health goals. So stress is something I talk about every single day with people. Let's jump in and go through the contents of our conversation today. What is stress? Number 2, causes of stress. Number 3, symptoms of stress. And 4, stress management. How do we actually get this to tools, tips, tricks, strategies to decrease the amount of stress that you have going on in your body, in your world as we go. Definition. What is stress? Well, stress defined is any type of change that causes physiological, emotional, physical strain to the body. We have 2 different ways that we can look at this. Number 1 is it's manageable. Everyone has some level of stress in their life, right? That's just part of being a human, being alive. And then we have the other side of the coin being chronic stress, chronic illness. Now, manageable can be positively perceived or just everyday stress. It leads to growth. It leads to you taking action. It leads to things being created from certain situations and develop change. Life is always changing. It's always going to be moving, and you need to be able to adapt with it, and that's where some stress comes in. Chronic stress can be a negative stress, right? It wears you down. It slows down your energy. It slows down your capacity to do more and be more resilient to the everyday ongoings of what is happening in your world today, or even the bigger picture of the world around us, right? There's a lot going on right now, and there's a lot of impact that it's having to everyday people's lives. It ultimately will lead you to a lower quality of life. And the body is stressed in all sorts of different ways. The stress short term can, if we just go down this line, stress affects the hypothalamus, which sends nerve signals to your spinal cord, which sends nerve signals to your adrenal medulla, which secretes adrenaline and noradrenaline, which leads to rises of blood sugar levels, higher blood pressure, faster breathing, faster metabolism. That could be perceived as a good thing, I guess, out of this, but not really. Increased attention, slower digestion, slower kidney functions, right? If these things are prolonged on your body, well, let's go back through this again. Stress affects your hypothalamus, and then it releases ACTH to the anterior pituitary gland, which then sends more ACTH to the adrenal cortex, which releases cortisol, which you've heard of course, and aldosterone, which then lead to higher blood volume, higher blood pressure, blood sugars are up, immune suppression, your immune system is down-regulating and doesn't handle it so well. Then we have kidney failure, cardiovascular diseases, a lot of things that we're seeing in people 30, 40, 50 years old for sure in the healthcare system, and how stress is impacting their day-to-day life in a negative way. Acute stress defined short-term form that can be positive or distressing. Examples in engaging in endurance or in an adventure sport, in getting ready, the hustle and bustle of getting ready to go on a trip. You're stressed because you're trying to pack everything, get everything the right amount, and get you out the door and get to the airport on time. And there's that stress of anticipation, or if you're running late, you got to hurry up. Let's not drive fast though, right? Let's keep it real there. Interviewing for a job is another good example. Approaching deadlines. Deadlines can be a really good thing for you to take action on, but they also, as the timeline gets closer, you have that internal pressure building. Most commonly, the acute stress is something that happens every single day. Thrills and motivates in small doses. If you're constantly having this pressure to perform, it will slowly turn into chronic illness in a sense. If you're constantly running late, that stressor will be all of a sudden of, hey, I was late here and there, but now I'm late all the time. Now I'm risking losing my job because I can't whatever in the morning, or things keep happening in the morning. Acute stress is just something that we have to live with. It doesn't do a lot of harm to the body, but it can build over time. Episodic acute stresses, these are things where there's more pressure that builds and pops. Different examples being relationship difficulties, right? You feel the stress and the strain that puts on your mental, your emotional, your physical well-being. Financial instability, lose a job, you'll probably feel a lot of instant pressure. And if you're in the working industry and you have a good resume and you have a lot of good education and you've been developing your network, then chances are you'll be able to replace that income with another job. And then that acute stress will disappear. Certain jobs such as firefighters, police, first responders, they have a lot of pressure in themselves to perform at a higher level. And then if you have a worry-prone personality, just another example, if the sky is falling, the Chicken Little example, then you're going to feel that pressure, that anxiety, that internal chaos. Your body's going to be revved up. Regular repeated exposures raise the mental strain on yourself, and something you have to be conscious. And if these are bigger problems or situations showing up in your everyday life, you need to take appropriate actions to find some balance with stress management, and that's what we're talking about today. Affects physical and mental well-being, of course. You don't want to move, you don't want to be as outgoing as you normally are. You are less likely to be engaged with other people, right? Humans are social creatures, and it's important to be able to connect with others. Chronic stress, definition, prolonged, constant feeling of stress, right? It's you're wearing it like a jacket all the time, and the jackets, I always refer this to people thinking about stress or about their weight or about their habits or behaviors. It's as if they're putting on this outfit that they don't know how to take off. It's way too old, it's way out of fashion, it smells funky, it hasn't been cleaned in forever, and you walk around with this jacket, this outfit on. We just need to take it off. Sometimes it can be a sense of shifting your mindset. It could be that easy in a sense, but also there's other thing that could be the internal mechanism that gets you to actually do the work and the changes that need made to create that. It's okay, I don't have to do this anymore. I'm not going to. That literally the last person I was talking to, Mindy, she got out of a career that she didn't really like very particularly for 25 years, and now we're exploring all sorts of different things to help her be more social, be more outgoing, talk to people, do things that she finds exciting. It's actually really fun working with Mindy because we have all these opportunities ahead of us now. Besides, she wanted more energy, and that's what we're doing. Is we're giving her energy in lots of different ways, not just in her food or her physical exercise. So chronic stress, more defined difficulty seeing a way out. Body remains in a state of physiological arousal. Right? There's constant releasing of hormones. Your dopamine, serotonin, adrenals are firing. Everything is this concoction inside your body, and it's wearing on you. Negatively impacts health and quality of life. Of course, if you're dealing with a lot of stress, you will feel it, and you'll see it. You can literally see someone who's stressed. Examples: traumatic life experience. There's a lot of different ones, from getting lost, losing a job, to losing a loved one, being chronically ill, just the financial insecurity that could happen. A big expense comes into your household, and the funds are challenged to be, to put the funds in the right spot for that. Unhealthy relationships, right? If you're constantly going home to an environment that doesn't feel warm or welcoming, you're gonna feel that. You're gonna the anxiety or the tension or the negative impact is gonna build each mile that you get closer to home. We don't want. What are some causes of stress? And number one, physical, an actual injury. Right? If you get a physical injury to a body part, there has been a higher load that joint, muscle, ligament, tendon could handle. Illness, pollution, dietary stuff that you eat can cause physical illness or stress, right? De-stress. Think of your digestive system. If you're really stressed, you can trigger diarrhea, you can trigger constipation, you can trigger some gnarly stomach pains, throwing up. These are all things that can happen physically. Substance abuse can happen as well. Psychological. We have emotions. You feel a wide range of emotions, more on those extreme sides of maybe a high intensity of joy, or intensity of sadness or depression or anxiety, or things like that could fill up your space. Cognitions, the things that you're thinking about, your perception of how you are interacting with your reality, right? If you are having different beliefs, your roles, your attitudes, the positions you have in life, if you perceive yourself to be in a lesser position, you will potentially feel a lot more stressed than if you came in with a lot of energy, a lot of confidence in a certain situation, and be able to have better viewpoint there. Psychosocial, relationship difficulties, of course. We're going to experience those all the time. That's what humans are. We're just this ball of emotions and this energy that come, and sometimes we're jiving with our closest people, or our coworkers, or our boss, those people in our circle of influence around us that we are in and they're in. You have, if you're with your spouse or your kids. I have 4 kids. There's 15 relationships in my house. They aren't all going in agreement all the time, and that creates some stress as well that could have just been better. I'll admit, yesterday I made some dinner. It didn't quite go the way I was hoping it would, and nobody wanted to eat it, and therefore that placed more tension around an enjoyable time that we could have had eating together. It felt like everyone was eating something different, and leftover here, a sandwich there, a bowl of cereal there, and just like, oh, if I would have made dinner better and more tasty, everyone would have said, oh, this is so good, and we would have been able to move forward. And I guess that's a really good learning lesson, because you have to be able to change and adapt. That I need to sometimes not just put stuff into a dish and hope it turns out, just follow a recipe. It's a lesson that feel like I'm slow to learn sometimes. I enjoyed it for the most part. It needed baked 30 more minutes. There you go. That's one thing that would have really helped. Just a little more time in the oven would have helped, but we were running out of time. Let's go back to psychosocial. So loss of a loved one. There's isolation too. If you are in a relationship that breaks up, or unfortunate, at some point someone's going to die. It's just the circle of life. there's going to be those emotions that are going to be flying and placing strain on you. We have isolation. If you exclude yourself from social interaction, then that's one of the worst forms of punishment, is solitary confinement for humans. It's been scientifically proven that people alone ultimately go crazy, in a sense, a lot sooner and faster, because there's that lack of connection. Psycho-spiritual crisis of values. Your purpose, your meaning, who are you as an identity in this world? What is your undertone and your alignment with the things that you're doing or what you want to do in your life? If things are misaligned with your core values, there's friction there. If you feel like you're a good person that does good things and then are asked to do things that aren't of ethical or even law, then you might have a lot of friction that bubbles up, and you have this internal challenge to navigate. Feeling unfulfilled. A lot of people do feel that way. And when you're unfulfilled, you don't have purpose, you don't have meaning, you don't have a reason to feel strongly about doing the things that you should be doing here. Common sources of the stress. Future of our nation. Yay, that's a big one, even more so than a couple years ago that I started doing this. Money, always going to be a source of challenge, of stress. You always want to do more, and you need more money always to do the things. And money challenges pop up all the time, right? All good, and you drive to work, and there's this one clanking, or the car doesn't want to stop. Awesome. Am I $100 to $500 in, or I'm $3,000 in on this new experience here with the car? Work. I believe you should do something that gives you energy, that fulfills you on some level, and not just showing up and checking a box. I think that life will be more full of enjoyment and a better form of stress that way. But work is always going to do. You do have to make a living to provide for your family and your needs. Current political climate, yeah, that might be 57%. It might go up. Who knows? And violence and crime, of course. If you ever feel threatened, you will feel stressed. Perceived stress scale. All right, this is just a way to determine how stressed you are. For each question in the perceived stress scale, we rate it 0 to 4, so that's a total of 5. 0 being never stressed, 4 being very often stressed, and then as we go through this, 0 to 13, you'd be less stressed. A moderate score is 14 to 26. And then 27 or more is you're in a really high stressful place. So if you have that type of perception, then that challenges you. Now, what are some of the stresses that are in your world? Quick question here. Chat box is open. For me, it's juggling a family of 6 and all the needs. The finance is always something that's fun to manage, right? There's just constant. My son he's learning to drive. So there's insurance costs. There's driver's ed. He wants a car. He says, "Hey, just buy me a car." I don't know if it works that way. And he needs to get a job, and so he's going to have to start to go drive to a job, and him being 15 and having that opportunity to evolve, that's placing stress on my wife, because now her baby isn't a baby anymore, becoming a young man, and she's really sad and stressed about it in one way or another. And so those are just things there that are happening in my world. Manage work, family time while working from home. Oh my gosh, I work from home, and at a certain hour, good luck. Right? For me, I work most hours of the day. Whenever I have opportunities, I'll get on a phone call with someone. I'll be creating content for my socials, or I have back end work, and always trying to squeeze it in. And when I get to the behind the scenes, and like last night, I didn't have actual physical work to do, but I cooked dinner. We ate dinner, which took about an hour, solid hour plus of just general time. Then we went on a walk, and then it was bedtime routine. So between 5 and 9:30, 10 o'clock, I was busy with family, which is rightfully so. But also, when you're self-employed, I could have gotten some work done too, and there's this hard focus there on that. Someone also states that they have some stress around just not being active enough, and that their day is so crammed tight with work, 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 or family, 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 that they don't have any time to move their body, and that's rightfully so too. That's something, a big challenge that I end up working with a lot of people to help overcome and manage, how to manage that stressor. I want to improve my health, but I can't move. I don't have any time in the day. I'm very time tight. All right, excellent. Thanks for those couple people that answered. All right, symptoms of stress. Stage 1, the alarm. Ding, ding, ding. The alarm goes off. The buzzer goes off on your phone. Fight, flight, or freeze response happens next. Body releases stress hormones that flood into your body, and to prepare for a higher heart rate, so you can like move your body and maybe fight or flight. There's you sweat, you get hot, right? Have you ever been there where, just say, I love this example. The principal calls you down to the office, so to speak. All of a sudden, the internal heart rate goes up. You're sweaty, your palms are clammy, and you just, what is going on here? I didn't do anything, right? It's got nothing to do with anything bad. They wanted to celebrate you and give you something special. Muscle tension, you get really tight, shoulders go up into your ears. Digestion slows. That's just a process. Blood shuttles out of the gut and digestion area into the muscles, whereas when it's, in general, when you're eating food, blood shuttles into your digestion and out of your muscles. Sometimes if you eat a large amount of food and there's a lot of blood in the digestion process to help with managing that, then you get that fatigue, that after food fatigue. Looking here, we've got stage 2 is resistance. The body acclimates to stress and begins to repair itself. Length of this stage depends on the intensity of stressor. The bigger the stress, the longer it's going to take to get back down to a baseline. You're irritable. There's a lot of frustration that can build and mount. You can't concentrate. Your focus is poor. Stage 3, as it's building, you finally have a breaking point where you're exhausted. There's physical fatigue that weighs on your body. There's mental and emotional fatigue that it gets amplified in this. There's a feeling of burnout, anxiety, depression, some heavy weighted words there. Your ability to manage the stress, you just get irritable at the smallest, tiniest thing. It just sets you off and you explode one way or another, whatever that means, whether it's a large outburst or if it's you isolating and getting out of the way. Okay. Something that you might not see building. Some other people might see that in you, but they're not going to tell you, or even if they did tell you, you're not listening and you can boil over. Chat time again. How do you know when you are stressed? For me, it feels like my eye wants to start twitching, or there's tension headaches, or other people, they want to just lay on the couch and not do anything, or they do one screen to the next, and next thing you know, they've binge watched the whole season. Others self-isolate. They just withdraw and get away from everyone. Don't eat. Or the flip side of the coin, they eat way too much. They overeat. That's a real thing that people do when they're stressed. So a couple of those popped up in the chat box there, so I appreciate that. Those are things. You're short with your people closest to you, even though you should be the nicest to them. They're the ones that see all your vulnerabilities and the challenges that you have every day. Thank you for answering those. Optimal stress curve. It's a bell curve here, people, right? So we've got our inactive, laid back, there's no stress at all, which is nice, but also if you were in that position all the time, you might feel really bored with life. There's no friction, resistance, challenge, something, anything to overcome. We get into the optimal range before we hit fatigue. So we're building up. We've got this nice chunk of eustress on positive stressors that are being put on you to manage, even if it's a simple work deadline or something, an event or an activity that you have at home. But then we get into that exhaustion phase, and this is where you need to pay attention to your own person, how you respond to stress and exhaustion in and of itself. And if you don't course correct and allow a release valve, a pressure release to bring it back down, then all of a sudden, it's going to keep building on you. And then we get to burnout where you say, screw it all, I'm done. And you might go off on what some people call a deep end, but also it might just be, hey, I'm really sick and tired of this. I'm done. And we get anxiety, panic, anger, breakdown, emotional, mental, physical breakdowns in the body can be where that stress goes. So speaking on stress management here, humans, we are full of emotions. There's so much emotions. Now we have the bigger labels of the ones that we see in this chart here: fear, anger, sadness, happiness, surprise, disgust, and love. There's 7 there. But then we have smaller ones. I'll just give 2 for each. Fear, the ones that come to me, fear of rejection, fear of being vulnerable, in a sense. With what I do as a living, I'm constantly putting myself out there, telling people about what I do, how I do it, how to help people. And that rejection or being more vulnerable is a challenge sometimes. Not necessarily, I've overcome a lot of that stuff. Not that that was ever a big issue for me, but those are things that if you were to get into self-employment, you have to get out in the socials, so to speak, and speak your truth. There can be a lot of time that goes by between where you start and where you're comfortable speaking your truth. Anger, we have threatened and frustrated. I think for me, probably frustrated and annoyed would be 2 examples. Just frustrated that I'm a go-getter and I want to do stuff faster than time allows or physical capacity allows. Annoyed, say my kid does something that's really annoying. that can bring some anger, especially if there's other things that are attached to it. Sadness, we've got sadness, lonely or hurt or 2 out of those that connect. Happiness, confident and excited. I also like playful. I like all those. And they're peaceful, grateful. Those all resonate. I like being happy. Surprise, I like amazed there out of all of them. Startled, overwhelmed, confused, shocked. Maybe shocked in a good way. I think a surprise is being something where it's really exciting, not something that catches me off guard. Disgust, we have disappointed, maybe disappointed is the one that rings out. Just being disappointed in myself or someone close to me, or disappointed that this thing that I'm doing isn't quite going the way I want it to. Lastly, we have love. We have passionate, affectionate. Those are definitely 2 that scream out to me of just going for the thing and doing it. So how do we cope effectively? Coping is a big part of being a human, and the better you can cope, the better you're going to be able to manage all the things. So number 1 is the awareness factor alone. If you're not aware of what you're doing, or what's happening in the situation, you can't change because you just don't realize what you don't know what you don't know, in a sense. Then we have increasing your sense of control. So we become aware and, okay, how do I start controlling this situation better? There's a lot of different avenues that you can go through and work towards to be able to do that. Cultivating gratitude and optimism. The glass is half full, the sun is shining type response is going to allow you to feel more resourceful, more able to create solutions, opportunities for you to be successful. Using emotional processing tools, books, journaling, apps, listening tracks, audio, talking to someone can be a tool. Lastly, 5 is changing your language. The way you speak, the words that you choose, share something. A big one that I have been reframing a lot of people on always is we're either winning or we're learning. Winning or learning. Okay? And in that situation, if we approach it that way, our perception of what is happening to us changes. I can do something with that. I can learn from my situation or the activities that are happening, and then I can adapt to be able to win more often. And as humans, we always want to be winning. Strengthening coping skills, engaging in reality testing, using positive self-talk. That's the one I was just talking about. I have this sheet that I share with clients, especially if I hear the language isn't good. It's the I am statement. And on this sheet, I have 3 sentences I want them to stay. They all start with I am. I am blank. I am blank. I am blank. Below that, there are at least 80 different adjectives that can describe the way they're feeling. I am clever. I am happy. I am sad. I am disappointed. I am encouraged. I am enlightened. I am creative. There's so many different opportunities for you to feel emotions. It's okay to feel happy or sad. Can we put better words on it to better frame our ability to cope with what's happening? Dedicate specific worry time. I always think of this. How long should pity parties last? I would say 5 minutes, not 5 days or 3 days, right? We can certainly, again, as humans, we're allowed to feel the feels, have emotions, have a response that gives us this space to deal with whatever's happening. That's 1000% accurate. But we shouldn't allow it to just dwell and then take away from the future of what we could possibly experience or do. So pity parties lasting 5 minutes instead of 5 days, that gets you out of this feeling of lack of control and gets you feeling more in control, resourceful to find better answers to the situations that you have to deal with. Do something you love. Of course. The feel-good hormones get released from doing activities of something you enjoy are really good. And of course, having a good cry session always can help release. You can just allow yourself to just release, get a good cry out, breathe through that, and feel those feels. And that can help you process some of the things that are going on. Here's a healthy coping strategy. You'll set 3 minutes on a timer. Make a list of as many positive and effective coping skills that you can use in response to stressors, and do not stop writing for 3 full minutes. You have the ability to figure out what are the best ways for you to focus on and to consider in this situation to be able to process whatever it is. So I would highly, highly recommend that you, after we're done here in a little bit, just pause and write down a couple different strategies that you can use to do this. This is the doing the work situation. And when you do the work, then you get insights and outcomes, and maybe figure out that this one strategy is the clear one for you, whether it's talking to someone, journaling, going out into the wilderness to just relax. Practice relaxation. Breathe deep. How we breathe: 4, 7, 8 techniques. We breathe in 4 counts, so let's do it together. Breathe in through your nose. 4. Now we're going to hold for 7. And then we're going to exhale for 8. Slow through the mouth. When you slow down your breathing like that, you really engage in your nervous system. You cause it a relaxation to happen. Your sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous systems to just slow down. Breathe. Pause. Think. Other ways: listen to a playlist, whether it be an upbeat music, it could be something on YouTube. Is crazy resourceful to find all sorts of different relaxation tracks. Apps like Calm or Headspace work really well. Draw a bath or shower, right? I have a hot tub, so I'll go jump in that and relax. Take a 1-minute vacation, meaning you just check out. Can I get away from the situation, clear my mind, and come back with a better answer or solution than what I'm faced with right now? All right, so we have morning pages. Streams of consciousness with journaling can be done first thing in the morning. And anytime I've ever done this, I'm always amazed at what comes out of my brain. Just start writing, all of a sudden, paper gets full. So another very powerful strategy: get it out of your head, get it on the paper so you can actually read it and see it and what's going on. After waking, grab a journal. So wake up, go to the bathroom, grab some water, maybe get the coffee going, sit down, write 3 pages longhand. The act of writing is powerful. Getting paper to pencil to paper, and writing out is can be therapeutic in and of itself. Avoid filtering your thoughts. Just simply write what comes to mind. It could be about your day, relationships, what happened yesterday, what's happening this weekend. By doing that, you get it flushed out, and you can clear out this. Maybe if you have that worry brain, you can clear it out and get it away from you. Stop when you have written 3 full pages. It could take you 5 to 10 or 15 minutes, but it may be the most powerful 15 minutes in your day of getting clarity on what's most important to you and how to claim the day to work in your favor. All right. Breathing technique. So breathing, the breath of fire, breathing technique: passive, normal inhalations and powerful, rapid exhalations. All right. So sitting, I'm standing, but sitting with your legs in cross position. And sit tall, feet normal. Breathe in through your nose, belly expands. So important that the belly expands, it blows out, not fill. You don't want your lungs going up. You want your diaphragm to pull out, so belly breathe. So you breathe in your belly. You pause and forcefully exhale through your nose. And speed up. By doing that, you can get almost hyperoxygenate your body. I'm feeling it right now, this rush of blood flow and energy. So hopefully you did it with me. Other ways to prevent stress: establish healthy boundaries, set realistic goals. Those healthy boundaries can be around people, be around work, can be around home, personal life. Most importantly, can be about yourself. Setting boundaries around what you will or won't tolerate, what you will or won't have in your life, what you will or won't participate in, what you will or won't stand for. Huge ways to make sure that you prioritize what's important to you and not let anything else get in the way. Set realistic goals. Okay. With that, what we want to do is be reasonable with yourself. Everyone overestimates what they can do in a day and underestimates what they can do in a year. I'm even dealing with that myself. I want to do so much, and with juggling all the things, I can only do so much. Learn to prioritize. What are the most important tasks that you need to do in your day to get done to be most successful? Really important here. When you have those levels of priority and that ability to put what you need done first, not what other people need, then you actually get somewhere a lot faster by prioritizing important activities and not just staying busy. Create a plan B. Plan B is super important. Plan A, but if we have plan B, then you're way better prepared. In my health coaching, I always have people plan for, especially super busy professional types that are working a lot, meeting, work. Plan A, I'm going to eat at noon. Doesn't happen. It gets scheduled over. Plan B, I have a small snack that I can grab in between meetings to keep my blood sugar levels up and not just end the day meetings at 4 o'clock and I haven't eaten anything all day. Horrible idea to get towards. Delegate tasks. Okay, if we're delegating things appropriately to the right people, then you can get things more done as well. Delegating is most definitely something you have to learn. You have to understand, you have to be able to see and help others see as well by clearly communicating what's important. Get exercise in. Please take a lunch break and walk. Please just walk. If you do nothing else about this whole thing, you leaving the office for 30 minutes or so, getting outside, especially since it's nice out, breathing, moving your body, getting blood flow, separating yourself from the constant work state, you will feel better. 100%. You'll get more movement, you'll feel better, easier to maintain your weight, get more activity in. It's all good. It improves your mood, energy, your focus is sharpened, relaxes your mind and body. Of course. Try to get at least 30 minutes of moderate activity in on most days. I think it should be an everyday thing. There's no reason why you can't find 30 minutes in your day to prioritize moving your body. Okay, especially if you sit all day. Then you have to triple down on that. Sleeping. Oh my goodness. Can we get enough Z's? Biggest predictor of anxiety is poor sleep. If you don't sleep, you are under a lot more stress. You're up longer. You're having to deal with so much more. Even if you lost just 1 hour of sleep a week, you're up almost an entire workday in a sense. An 8-hour day, so much, 7-8 hours of time that you are up longer in worry mode or in thought mode or in process mode or in doing mode. You are a sleeping creature and you need rest. Emotional reactivity is amplified 60% with sleep deprivation. Yeah, you're more irritable. Things just you trigger more easily. So practicing good sleep hygiene, this is always something that's a challenge to consistently do. But sleep and wake. Go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time most of the time. Of course, keep your bedroom dark, cool, quiet. Even do white noise. We do ocean waves most nights even. We have a dog and sometimes if he hears coyotes or something out back, he'll start barking in the middle of the night and it's definitely disruptive. But if the ocean's going, then he might not hear it. Creating a wind down routine before bed. please, for love, don't have a screen in your bed either. That will keep you up longer than anything else. Of course, a great stress management technique is finding support. Talk to someone, a friend, a family, your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, a partner, your kids, your neighbor, your bestie. These are all so important. Professional. Get a coach, get a therapist, a counselor to be able to relieve this. Being able to talk and see how you're perceiving stuff, or have a third party listening in to help you see things differently, will really ease a lot of emotional challenge that you might have. If the cause of your stress involves some people that you do turn to, then you need to find other ways. Other people, support groups, therapy, journaling, space as well from that particular source of stress. Chat, one more chat time here. Love to hit the chat box. What stress management techniques are you going to prioritize? So you can fill in the comments below. For me, my main stress management technique is going to move my body. I always feel better getting the blood flowing, stop thinking about the certain whatever it is, and just go move myself. And I always just feel a lot better. Someone else is piggybacks on this. They are going to take walks at lunch this week. So thank you. Do that. Someone's going to pack their lunch and not just wing it in the day. That's great because good food gives you good energy. What else do we have? We've got someone's going to download an app, the Calm app specifically, to have some meditation, to reframe their mindset, the way they think and how they feel about it all. We've got someone else. We have exercise, walking, sleep, getting to bed on time without a screen. Put the screen across the room, please. Don't put it next to you. Don't do it. You'll lose sleep. Promise. All right. So concluding today, stress is an automatic physical, mental, emotional response to a challenging event. Unmanaged stress can lower quality of life and negatively impact your health. Of course, we know this, we feel it, we see it in ourselves and other people, probably in other people more than ourselves. Incorporating life skills that prevent stress, help you cope, relax your body, mind, can help you effectively manage stress. Okay? If we can keep it out of your world, you'll feel better. If we can help you cope with it better, then you can manage it better. If we can relax yourself in those stressful situations, you can make it better. So I want to thank you for your time today. And your comments can go below in the chat. So I appreciate your time. Hopefully you can make stress management more easy, better for you to manage here. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Appreciate you.